was a dark weekend for many families. 3 days of flow of blood on the highways. In the south-south, dark Friday in Port Harcourt, Rivers State. A tanker explosion at the LMA axis of the east-west road claimed lives and vehicles burnt. And on Saturday, in the southwest, 4 lives were lost. Vehicles turned to ashes as tanker explosion took place at the Itaoshin area, Abuja, Ogun State. While on Sunday, another unpleasant sight at the north central Kogi State as fatal road crash claims lives at Okene bypass along the Okene-Lokoja highway. These are really sad moments. But what are the factors responsible and what needs to be done to curb these endless loss of lives? The Federal Road Safety Corps attributes most of these accidents to negligence on the part of the drivers. And that is why we thought it wise to invite the President, Nigerian Association of Road Transport Owners, NATO, Mr. Yusuf Lawal, to give us some explanations and the efforts to checkmate some of the excesses of some drivers on the road. So that is the outlook on Panorama today. Thank you for joining us. Welcome. I'm Ruth Aguilera. President Bola Tinubu says his administration is investing in technology that is tailored towards ensuring transparency and accountability in governance and accelerating public sector performance and service delivery to Nigerians. Speaking during a meeting with Microsoft founder and philanthropist Bill Gates on the sidelines of the World Economic Forum special meeting in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, President Tinubu says technology is a potent weapon against corruption and financial misconduct in public service, emphasizing his unwavering commitment to deliver reliable technology that will support a national consumer credit system and many other critical new government interventions for all Nigerians. The president says resistance is often expected when efforts are made to strengthen systems and forestall malfeasance. In his remarks, Bill Gates informed the president of a one identity technological platform that can integrate variegated data while explaining the centrality of data harmonization to planning, security, and tax efficiency. Bill Gates says Nigeria has the capacity to manage technological systems as a nation brims with talented youths. And back home, the Ministry of Solid Minerals Development says, following the 60 days deadline given to illegal miners, 70 cooperative societies have been formed and will now be integrated into the formal mining industry where royalties can be paid to the federal government. Now, Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dele Alaki, announced this at the 2-day step-down retreat for staff of the ministry in Abuja. The minister, however, notes that illegal miners yet to form cooperatives will face the mines marshals.
We are still employing the persuasive method because some of them are still, some will have some logistics problems of bringing their members together. And we've said that they should come to us if there's anything the ministry can do to, fast track their own process of forming these cooperatives. And they are really doing that. So it's open-ended. However, those who now refuse to toe that line of reasoning, or reason, then we have the kinetic approach, the coercive approach of security. We unleash the security agents on them. And we have been doing that as well. Only last week, the mines marshal that we established, they arrested some people in Abuja here. They arrested some people in Nasarawa. So I've asked them to compile all the details so that we'll push this out to the media so that others will learn that, illegality does not pay.
In other news, Ogun State Governor Dakpo Abiodun has promised to compensate victims of the explosion at Itaoshin along the Abeokuta-Lagos Expressway. The governor, who visited the scene of the incident and the victims receiving treatment at the hospital, also promised to pay the medical bills of those injured. Lekon Agbode reports.
The Itaoshin scene of the gas explosion along the Abeokuta-Lagos Expressway has continued to attract residents, including the Ogun State Governor. The governor promised to relocate and compensate the victims and pay the hospital bills of those injured.
I have directed that 1 or 2 buildings be evacuated until our regulatory agency that's in charge does the required integrity tests on those buildings to ensure that they are safe for our people to continue to live in there.
He further speaks on the way forward to prevent future reoccurrence.
As a state government and as a responsible one, we are going to ensure that we put the required legislation in place to provide the required oversight.
Eyewitnesses' account indicates that the lone accident, which occurred on Saturday, 27th April 2024 at about 5 in the evening, was as a result of brake failure of a truck laden with gas, where the driver lost control of the vehicle and ran into the road median, resulting in the explosion. It was gathered that while the driver of the truck is still on the run, the assistant driver lost his life in the incident and his remains have been deposited at the General Hospital, Ijaye. 4 vehicles were also burned to ashes and 5 shops were affected by the inferno. In Abeokuta, Lekon Agbode, NTA News.
When the Federal Road Safety Corps Court-Martial, Dauda Abiyu has condemned the fatal road crash that claimed 19 lives on Sunday, 28th April 2024 at Okene Bypass on the Okene-Lokoja Highway in Kogi State after enduring over 3 hours. The FRSC emergency rescue teams deployed to rescue the victims could not achieve the desired results, as efforts they put into the rescue operations was duly hindered by the fire that engulfed the 2 vehicles involved after spending more than 3 hours trying to rescue the victims. The crash, which involved 2 vehicles comprising of a Dangote truck and a Toyota Hiace bus, was said to have been caused by route violation, one-way, and wrongful overtaking. The corpses have been deposited at the Okene General Hospital. All right, and to speak further on this recurring road crash, we have with us in the studio the President, Nigerian Association of Road Transport Owners, Mr. Yusuf Lawal. Thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Lawal.
Thank you.
Well, you've been following the trend over the weekend. At least 30 lives, from reports we've gathered, have been lost and about 40 injured in just 3 days. Rivers, Ogun, and Kogi states. As a result of road accident, what could you say is responsible for this trend?
Well, thank you so much. Let me use this opportunity to once again commiserate to the government and people of Rivers State, as well as government and people of Ogun State, as well as Kogi State and Nigeria in general. This is a very sad development. It's a very sad period in the history of this country. In this high level of, deaths as a result of, vehicular accidents. And it's very unfortunate because these are avoidable incidences, all of them. I want to believe that most of the drivers, they are not necessarily, adhering to the norms of the society. Most of these articulated vehicles, they have what we call speed limiting levels approved by Federal Road Safety Corps. And also they have some speed limiting devices. And they expect that if they overspeed, those devices are supposed to curtail the speed, notwithstanding. Let me start with Port Harcourt. It's very unfortunate, and although investigation is ongoing, and we do not want to preempt it, but I believe The time it happened was when people were closing for work, and there are a lot of vehicles queuing up to leave their premises of work. And unfortunately, it happened in an area where the road is terribly bad, coming out of the Port Harcourt refinery and going to all those Indorama areas. Now, of course, only God knows the causes. They are trying to investigate, but I believe if necessary care and caution was taken, all those incidences would have been avoided. Now, I want to believe tankers drivers are properly trained, and they properly get necessary brief. That's what we call preloading, safe-to-load instructions.
Okay.
And you should be aware of the terrain before you go and load highly inflammable products.
Okay, Mr. Lawal, we've seen the report, the Okene own, quite unfortunate, and the FRC attributed that particular incident to route violation, one-way and overtaking. And they've also said the reckless driving, of course, the route violation we just mentioned, and also drunk driving. These are some of the issues. What kind of, sensitization is being done by association like yours, to ensure that these drivers take adherence to guidelines on the road? Because it's really unfortunate we keep losing lives.
Thank you so much. It's very unfortunate if such is the case, but we believe our drivers are properly sensitized to adhere strictly, like I was saying, to the norms. Because if you drive with being drunk or whatever, it means that only God can save. So I want to believe, especially those that loading petroleum product, they are properly trained and briefed before they embark on a journey with a highly inflammable product. And in fact, ourselves, even in conjunction with the Federal Road Safety Corps, from time to time, we used to arrange sensitization with the drivers, some even at the motor park, some even at the depot, with the NATO, NUPENG, PTD, to sensitize the drivers. Because, you see, in most cases, the drivers, they should know it's not only the lives of the people, even the lives of themselves who are carrying the product, and the motor boys and the general public is at stake. So it is an effort to also to secure your life that you should be able to also secure somebody's life. It's very unfortunate. And this time around, we need to work together jointly, all of us working in this sector, to ensure that we avoid future occurrences, because we can't afford to continue to have such kind of incidences.
Mr. Lawal, a notable excuse will be from the drivers will be their brake failure. Now, one will wonder why the driver would not check his vehicle before stepping out, or putting that vehicle on the road and on a trip. Now, your commitment to the association and some of these drivers being a member of association like yours, what are some of their challenges they have shared that can be addressed so we don't have this kind of instances reoccurring?
Well, thank you so much. I do not believe that a driver will embark on a journey with a brake that is not properly fixed. However, in the course of the journey, because of the situation of the roads, some drivers can, a lot of bumps on the road, and of course you find even some of the spare parts that we purchase are not necessarily very high quality. So you find them wanting along the line, but notwithstanding, if you are driving within 60 to, maximum 60 to 70 or 80 max kilometer, I think one should be able to maneuver in case of brake failure. I don't want to subscribe to any driver saying that he has a brake. If you know your vehicle is well, then it is well you drive 60, 70, 80 kilometers per hour. But if it is not well, you should be able to fix it before you embark on a journey. In any case, look at all these incidences. So many of the drivers are motorbikes, and so it means even you, the actor, your life is at risk, talk less of the other persons on the street. It's a very unfortunate development. This needs to be addressed. Like I said, we need to sit down together. It's a national catastrophe which needs national attention and national approach.
Indeed, Mr. Lawal. And another allegation we're hearing is the underage drivers who ply some of these tankers, we're saying. Now, what is the role of the transport owners really behind this? And also, association like yours, are you doing due diligence in terms of regulations to ensure that before you ply the road, you are certified, you're a certified driver?
Yes, in as far as we are concerned, in NATO, our members, like I said, most of us that work in so many of these oil companies, we used to sensitize our members, and who, of course, we arrange training twice a year for those that are working in so many of the major companies, major oil companies. They train our drivers and they inspect the quality of the vehicles before they go on driving. As well, even the Federal Road Safety Corps, in conjunction with NUPEM PTD and NATO, we also arrange training for the drivers with a view to get abreast with the happenings of the day, as well as even to sensitize yourself with the situation of the road in the country. Because if you follow, for example, Abuja to Lokoja in the last 1 year, it's quite distinct from what it is today. So you need to be abreast with what happened to the road last year, with a view to ensure that you get abreast with the happenings. Because you see, there are developments on the roads which is as a result of the poor condition of the road. Of course, federal government is trying its best, no doubt about it. But, you know, because of the frequency of the usage, so we come across a lot of challenges. And we keep clamoring and sensitizing government, especially that as of today in Nigeria, 100% of distribution of petroleum product is done by road, by trucks.
Yeah.
So it's 100% reliant on these trucks. We don't have any choice. But I must tell you, so many portions of the roads are bad. And if I tell you, the drivers, they try their very, very best to maneuver, especially those. But if you have a brand new vehicle today, irrespective of its newness or whatever, you can fall a victim because of so many potholes on the road. You have to maneuver, and in the course of maneuver, you will come across challenges. I do not want to preempt what happened in LMA, Port Harcourt, but the road itself coming out from the refinery and going to the refinery is terribly bad. So
okay. Mr. Yusuf Lawal, we'll leave the conversation there, but not the advocacy. We'll continue to talk about it because every life is precious. Thank you very much. Mr. Yusuf Lawal is the President, Nigerian Association of Road Transport Owners. Thank you for your time.
It's my pleasure.
All right, while we ponder on the do's and don'ts on the road, let's take a break. Glad you're there. Nigerians have been encouraged to protect the forests and avoid deforestation activities while utilizing the abundant ecotourism attractions available in the country rather than traveling abroad for leisure and relaxation. We have them here. This was the central message at the 334th meeting of Association of Heads of Federal Establishments Cross River State Chapter at the Cross River National Park, Akankpa. Paul Abel reports.
The 334th monthly general meeting of the Association of Heads of Federal Establishments is holding at not the regular environment, but at the Cross River National Park, and the essence is to create that awareness on the need to protect the forests and mitigate the impact of climate change. With the regular meeting concluded, members proceeded on a field trip to the Erocute tourist camp to experience the beauty of nature and the large tropical rainforest in the country.
We should encourage our tourist centers so that we should stop traveling out for tourist purposes.
Cross River National Park represents the last hope of still having tropical rainforest in Cross River State. All on the Cross River State government to support Cross River National Park.
The trip took members on a 3-kilometer walk into the forest, where they were exposed to various species of trees and plants, as well as their importance to man. During the walk, the team also witnessed the arrest of illegal loggers in the park.
There are many medicinal plants here, and which need to be researched on for the better of good health of Nigerians.
And be a very good world-class standard tourist site is for the state and the country to develop it, and it will really be good.
I have come here seeing nature and being in love with nature. If I have the opportunity, I'll bring my family.
The message here is that everyone has a duty to protect the forest. From the Cross River National Park here in Akankpa, I am Paul Abel, NTA News.
Thank you, Paul. The federal government, through the Minister of Works, David Umahi, has flagged off the demolition of property on the right-of-way of the 700 kilometers Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway. Larry Belayi reports.
Hours after the federal government announced its readiness to commence payment of compensation to property owners along the Lagos-Calabar Highway, the Minister of Works, David Umahi, visited the affected areas before demolition commences. Okwaja Seaside Community and resort centers at Oniru are some of the affected property.
Demolition order was passed to all the affected investors, so to say, and I graciously increased the grace period by another 7 days and yet another 4 days. And here we are because the project stopped because of lack of this demolition.
One of the property owners along the right-of-way believes it's a sacrifice for national development.
Yes, some of us are affected, no doubt about it. But some of us are not up to 0.1% of the millions of people that will enjoy the coastal road.
The minister used the opportunity to address issues surrounding one of the resort centers that has generated heated debate.
Amak, unfortunately, has made so much noise about this. I had to revisit the place. I continue to say that none of this infrastructure is affected. Just the shanties.
He confirmed that compensation of demolished properties will be a continuous process before flagging off the demolition process.
And so I flag it off.
The Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway on completion is expected to attract foreign direct investments to Nigeria, develop the potential of our coastal businesses, especially at the local economic corridors, and boost tourism and marine businesses. In Lagos, Larry Belayi, NTA News.
And next will be Sports Update. We're done with the media news. Thank you for your time. Do have a lovely day. I'm Ruth Aguera.